Hello, everybody. Happy muggy day in Seattle. Leaving my window open and I'm close to the airport, so you might hear some airplanes from time to time. We're picking up right from where we left off. If you recall, we were refactoring and we were working on making some rig scoped things. And we started thinking about how to address the problem of having concurrent agents all working on the same code base. And there's sort of two threads that we're kind of pulling on. One of the threads is, well, of course, we should have pools of Git work trees, and we should use those to separate out different people's work. They should merge into branches, and then we should sort it all out in the refinery merge queue, right? And the second thing we're thinking about is about how if you make a bunch of Git work trees, you essentially are doing a copy of the entire repository. And right now, our puzzle rig is a giant monorepo. Right? It's got lots of different agents. It's got lots of different data sources. It's got lots of different business processes and lessons learned and institutional knowledge all under one roof. And if you're making a copy of this work tree and you have been given like a huge database of games or maybe prototypes or source code or the catalog of existing puzzles, you're going to be copying that over and over again, but to no good effect, right? We haven't created the separation between the agents and the way they work that kind of data and then the work product itself, like the catalog, those canonical sources. And so we need to start thinking a little bit about the shift from sort of this big mono repo to something like service orientation, perhaps, or at least separation of responsibilities so that our rig might be depending on some service that our rig has been created to use. Hmm. I can feel myself starting to sneeze, but it's those spring allergies, right? And then there's actually sort of the operations side, right, of each one of these individual teams. And you start thinking, well, maybe I am trying to create, um, you know, maybe the Gas City model isn't great for this, or maybe I want to start pushing really hard on this idea of routing and having different remotes, potentially different remote agents, different MCPs, and then not just having like the routing go, oh well, it's this agent from this rig that was imported, and you contact it instead of by slinging work to it. That's not possible. It's at a remote. You need to sling to a different container. We haven't figured all that stuff out yet, but those are the threads we're pulling on. And so we're talking to our mayor about that. And I think it's also working on got back some answers from GC Oracle. We haven't read those yet. The antiquarian is continuing to work on adding a sort of mechanics dictionary or mechanics classifier to all of the existing puzzles. And we're starting to add new buckets to our classifier, which is great. I'm pleased if this all takes place without me, right? As the head chef of the kitchen, right? I trust the antiquarian to come up with sort of the right model. And if that model doesn't work, we're going to refine it over time, right? We're working on some refactoring. We're working on this idea of, let's see, this is, yeah. We answered a bunch of questions about this, about how we acquire work, and we accept work when there's a work tree free for us to work with it, right? That's sort of how we're going to keep our noses clean, right? But it also means, right, that a work tree is kind of like a global lock on a copy of our entire code base, right? And if we only have three available, that limits the number of agents that we can have active at any one time, right? Because we can only have three copies checked out and they're, doing their work. You sort of hope that their lifetime holding the lock is short, but there's no guarantee for that. We haven't sort of forced that kind of thing or written it into anybody's prompt. And so Again, we're returning to a theme, a sort of meta theme that I've explored many times in our previous videos, which is we're speed running the evolution of the software world. And so now we're starting to run into the problems that service orientation or like that separation of concerns or well-defined interfaces to individual canonical data sources, right? Um, the same way that the software industry hit it. And so someday I feel like we're going to catch up to the software industry. But let's see where we got to from here. Mail is in. This has to do with why an agent wasn't spun up to do its work when we asked for it, I think. Uh, there is a GC agent list JSON in source, but we don't seem to have it. Interesting. This is like, can we discover what agents are available at runtime? This would be helpful if we're adding agents or editing them, and it would help if we're, trying to vet out that our pack configuration is working. And then, yeah, the concierge can't see imported packs. Okay, so we should rebuild GC and use this. Now that's interesting. Like if we look at our GC version, right? 1.1.1, right? And then GC agent list in JSON. Let's try that. Runtime operations have moved to GC session and GC runtime. Okay, so so we've got our running sessions, right? But that's not all of the agents that are available. Let's look at GC runtime. Oops. Not by humans. Let's look at GC session new help. We could prune. Create a new conversation from an agent template defined in the load city configuration. And so, and then there's a title or a title hint. This is interesting. I don't know if there's a good way to discover them. We should talk about how what we learned about GC agent list not being a thing anymore, that it's split in between GC session and GC runtime. I didn't see anything helpful in GC runtime. Let's see. I guess one more thing, and then we can sort of ask the Oracle about it. We're sort of looking for the agent definitions in here. Maybe it was in there. Let's do more like a search. Let's assume that it's hidden inside of here. So this is referring to HQ is the city itself, and in is the incremental pack. Let's look at this one. Runtime packs maintenance config.jsonl. Let's start with this one. Not helping us that much. I think there's a lot of history here. Hmm. This is like a record of conversations. It's not a record of which agents are available, or what's the runtime configuration of this. It's kind of weird. I would think that's stored somewhere. Hmm. There's nothing in cache about system. I don't think this is it either. What are our other choices? I mean, it's showing up inside of all of these records. But yeah, maybe another good question for GC Oracle. Kind of two repos per rig. Um, let's talk to the agent about service orientation and hiding, maintaining the business process, which is kind of meta, from the work product. I wouldn't say that department changes are rare because notes are happening on every single task, right? But it's true that these could be even changing even faster. Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's agree with number one. Um, basically number one, we should consider it in light of service oriented architecture. The catalog data source is both maintained and used by the antiquarian agents. And other agents have an interest in using it. Define patterns or do lookups, e.g. the inventor. The catalog needs a well-defined service boundary that everyone can use, possibly two, one admin-oriented boundary, only available to its maintainers, and one customer-oriented boundary. We can think of other applications within the puzzle rig, currently within the puzzle rig, that are also being treated, being treated like a monorepo. They will all cause this same issue, and we could have services for each. We have had some discussions in the past about Conway's law, the communication structures causing the software architecture. This would be carrying that forward to a further level of intentional structure. Okay, I think that's all I want to say about that. Let's go sync before we rebuild Gas City again, which not bad. What? It says five days ago. That can't be right. No way. Two days ago. There we go. I don't know what kind of caching was going on that page, but all right. We just got a pull request a couple seconds ago. Yeah, I think that makes more sense. All right. There we go. Now we could potentially build releases. I'd like to know what the parent releases are. Maybe it was there. Maybe it's in the tags. I don't want to create a new release. I haven't pulled tags from the parent. So that's the thing. I always forget how to do this too. Very, very annoying. It's not it. I feel like I'm sure I've looked at this page like many times. All right, get fetch upstream tags. Let's try that. Upstream is the parent project. All right, now we've got tags for 1.2.1. All right, so now we're ready to rebuild. Um, type something. We can rebuild. Oh, I almost forgot, but not quite. There we go. Okay. Now we're up to date, both in the web page, we've got the tags, and we've got the source code locally. So now we should be ready to rebuild. I pulled tags from parent. The source should be updated up to 1.2.1. We can investigate the diff. We can investigate the diff, possibly ask UC. Oops. Do want it to be 4, and I do want this to be 4. We can rebuild GC using, I pulled tags and source from parent. Okie dokie. There we go. All right. So let's see. So yeah, this service-oriented architecture idea, I mean, we're still a little bit in the past, right? There's a variety of different reasons to merge. Yeah, good. Alrighty. And it's weird because I have a very clear idea of what I want a software company to look at or look like, if you want. And hmm, looks like I didn't notice this before, but yeah, it looks like the edge of my terminal is getting kind of cut off. Hopefully you can see it all. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing if it went all the way out to the edge of the screen. Um, yeah, okay. Should be able to see everything now, I think. Yeah, so we've had this conversation. Like, if you look back in these sessions, we were talking about Conway's law enforcement, and that was the frame kind of for doing departments in the first place. And I think getting that separation into our file system itself, into our code, into possibly splitting this out into multiple different containers and that kind of thing. Um, it was kind of lurking all the time in the back of that. Like, you say you're doing Conway's Law, but the mayor can just reach into any one of your agents' configuration and potentially redo his job from scratch. And pardon me, had a delicious lunch today. And there's this mismatch, right, between the way that you want your agents to communicate and the way they're actually laid out on disk. Okay, hopefully it's going to be able to figure out all of the Gas City commits and all this jazz. Right, because I don't think that we had 1.1 on the disk when we last built Gas City. It was looking at like 0.13 point something, right? Like if we scroll way back up here, I don't know if we have enough scroll back buffer to actually look at this, but oh, maybe so. I thought this was really funny. I took a picture of this for um, memes. It's like the cron tomorrow should succeed. This is about doing Claude backups. Verify tomorrow's cron run succeeded. And it's like, well, if I'd auto completed that and hit enter, what would have happened? Would it invent like time travel? um, okay, so today, anyway, we could see we grabbed the new code. Here are the new tags that we found. I don't know, maybe we did have 1.1 on disk, I'm not sure. Okay. It keeps adding zero framework cognition over and over again as a feedback memory. Maybe that's a specific thing from the Gastown mayor that always be in there. Or maybe I'm conflating my memories of how Gastown mayor was set up because zero framework cognition was like a bedrock principle in like every agent's memory. And it's been a very useful principle as we go through here. Okay, so it's kicked off a build. We got our GC Oracle answers. Some of these things might fix some of our issues. Um, yeah, let's push our commits. Let's push our commits for sure. Um, Tell me about the play tester Wisp. I think that this is for like, do we are we accepting the version of Slitherlink where you have to visit every cell? So this is like several sessions ago. We were sort of vetting out all of our business processes by doing a sample game invention, sending it through its paces, and we still haven't sent it all the way through its paces, right? Because I haven't gotten to play that in a web UI or anything like that. But I don't know. It's sometimes it's hard to understand if slow is smooth and smooth is fast, right? Like, are we just going to go build up all of these business processes and business processes and business processes with the intention that at the end our product is just going to magically emerge. And normally that's not the right way to work, right? We'd much prefer to do a tracer bullet, do an MVP, do the smallest possible thing, and then iterate on it. What's kind of weird about this is that the thing that we're trying to build is the process, and so uh, what does a tracer bullet look like for that? And so this was an initial one that was sort of like, we're shaking out all of the formulas that all of our happy path agents are going to use to put a game into production. So let's read what it says. The loop touches every cell puzzle. This was like 2 weeks ago. To be clear, I'm reading through all of this, and not all of the jargon makes sense to me. It kind of makes sense to me. Um, they're talking about what this game is like to play when you only have 9 squares, and that is pretty small for a Slitherlink, right? Um, we were showing an example of one of those a while back. Um, That was here, this one. Right, so here we've got these puzzles that have 3x3 grids, and we were showing that we could or couldn't work them. There was, in this top one, there was an ambiguity about the solution because either one of these works, and nothing in the grid constrains them. Unless you're talking about visiting every cell, in which case the blue one here visits the top right cell and the yellow one doesn't, because it lights up one of its edges. Right. So there's that. It's sort of the Smith isn't supposed to return, right? We're supposed to sling work to it. There's something happening here about handoffs between different teams and business processes. For instance, if we had an overarching formula for create a new prototype. After the analyst was done, we would move to the next phase of the prototype, smithing, etc. Create a new prototype puzzle. I keep pressing down when I want to navigate down. It's sort of annoying. Does Control P work? No. Control P does up and down. So, yeah, my stuff for read line barely is working. Like I've got backward and forward, and I've got end of line and beginning of line, but I don't have go up a line, a visible line. I've got Control G to edit in Vim, but I'd be preferring to edit in maybe like Emacs client or something like that. Okay. And perhaps we would sling to the Smith, pausing that session spawn, or something else. Or we would enqueue work and Smith would periodically assume it's queued. Maybe this is better done in the gas town. Before I do this, what is this? Does it have to be installed by app? But aren't we doing like a Go dependency? It's clearly asking for something that only I could do. Oh, yeah. Let's see if it can install it or if I need to do it. It's weird that this should have happened because usually I would think of like the Gas City build as self-contained, bring in all of its dependencies, not needing any special intervention from me. All right. So maybe I'll take this over to okay. Kind of weird. It implies that this build can only proceed inside of a build environment that has this package installed. Um, I installed the package um, using your CLI input. Capturing this orchestration insight. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that like you'll see some videos nowadays about creating your company as a series of loops, right? Um, this team is looping around until it fills your catalog, or it's constantly improving and making notes and using those notes and editing its prompt and that kind of thing. Um, and the larger you make that circle, the more higher level work is getting done, right? And so if your goal is that like I'd like a puzzle factory that's constantly churning out puzzles and improving my puzzle gateway, if you want. Sure, sure, why not? Just keep on rolling. All right. Now that we've pulled tags, I would think that we would have the other ones too. This seems weird. Maybe it's because hmm, we pulled tags on the CLI, but I don't think that we did up here, which sounds weird, but it seems almost like you could, you know, push changes from the local to this remote, and then it would have all of the tags from the parent. But it's kind of weird. I find this weird. All right. Okay. And now we're sort of praying that this doesn't destroy our city once again. Again, like we've okay. The GC binary's been updated. Here, I guess we didn't see Okay. There we go. Okay. Oh yeah, we're almost done with this one. If you recall, it's much like rectangles, except you have to deal with this no four corners rule. And it's possible that there are rectangles like this one that don't have any number in them. And finally, we can't have two rectangles of the same size sharing a side. I don't think we need to deal with that right now. Okay, so for instance, we cannot have this 3 going this way, touching this other 3. We cannot, let's see, right, we couldn't have a 4 touching here. We can't have a 2 going this way. We could have one going this way, or this could be a 1. Those are sort of our two choices. We can't have this 2 going this way, and we can't have this 2 coming this way. So it has to be like so. There we go. Now we can't have this 2 coming down here, touching that 2. Okay. We can't have like a 2 like this. I mean, that was already a kind of a problem. The 4 could extend up into this corner, but it's a 4 or it's a 1. Uh, I guess this could be a 2 also. That could be where the 2 goes. Oh, I think we were just about to do this and then we got cut off last night. If we drew a wall here, that would be a 1 next to a 1. It can't be. So this has got to be part of the 3. And that means that we've got to do our 3 like so. And now this one is interesting because it's next to a 1 and two 2s and a 3. So it must be a 4 with no number in it. This one is a 2, but it can't go this way because it would be a 2 next to a 2. Gotta be like this. This square is next to a 2, a 3, and a 4, so it has to be a 1. And this is next to a 1 and a 4 and a 2, kind of by implication. So there we go, a 3. This can't be a 2 right here. So that's not the way that works. This could be this can't be a 2 or 4 or a 3. It's got to be a 1. Then we got a 1, 2, and a 3, so this has to be a 4. And then we've got a 4 corners rule. We can't put it right here. We've got to put it like so. Okay, so the 4 corners rule and the no 2 sharing a side. Oh, you know what? We've messed up because look, down here, a long time ago in the puzzle, we made a 4 corners, and that's wrong. So we didn't notice that rule, I think, until we were solving later, but we're actually going to have to like start over. You can see how hard some of these puzzles might be, right? Oh, okay, there we go. All right. So interesting, wild. Uh, so we got most of the way through that puzzle, but then we noticed we made a mistake. Okay. Yeah, we could retest that cold start. GC agent list works. Okay, great. It's interesting that this came back since we had a message that it was split into GC session and GC runtime, but apparently it was put back for reasons like this, like there was no other way to get that list. Interesting. Hopefully those warnings aren't important. Sure, retesting and checking the change logs for the fix would be great. It's not like we don't have other work to be working on too. We're trying to do some refactors, we're trying to unblock stuff, we're trying to ideate around service-oriented architecture. Um, there's a lot of stuff to do. The mayor should have a lot of stuff on the plate. Okay. And we're just sort of limping along here, relearning this puzzle. So if you recall, the main properties of this puzzle are it's like rectangles in that every number that we see is represented by a rectangle that is 1 by whatever number we see. So there's going to be a 1 by 4 triangle that includes this 4, and a 1 by 3, and the 1 by 1s are very plain how they work. But there are also rectangles that we don't see. Like if we added up all these numbers, we wouldn't get the full size 49 of this grid. And in order to figure out where the missing ones are, we have a couple of different helps. One of the helps is that we can't draw 4 lines incident to any single dot on this grid. No 4 corners. And the other rule is that 2 mats of the same size cannot share an edge. And together that should be enough for us to get going. So here's our 3 in the corner. It can't go this way, it's got to go this way. That part at least has not changed. We could infer things like this 3 can't go and touch this 3. We've got this 4. It's got to fit somewhere in this cell of 5, and so these are all like part of this 4 for sure. Yeah, we know that this is not a wall. This is sort of how we're representing not a wall. All one thing. Okay, still doing fine. This is split off, and there's only way to complete this 3 now. So, we're unsure if it's this 2 down here or this 2 right here. This 4, it can't go to the side, so it's got to go up and down. And we can tell that it's got to go at least 2, like right here. We can tell that these 2 can't be joined because that would put a 3 next to a 3. So we can actually draw a line there. We can tell that this 2 can't butt into this 2. We could draw a line here. And same right here. We've got this 4 to deal with. It can only really fit in one place down here. And this 2 can only fit here. Then we've also got this 2. It can't touch this other 2, so it has to go up. And that shows us where the boundary is of the 4. And this 2. And this 4. Yeah. Okay, we've got another 4 down here. It's got to go up. The only place it really fits. Notice that we created a complete mat over here, a 1. It doesn't have a number in it. So this is the big way that it's distinguished from like the rectangles puzzle. I keep touch. Okay, Let's see, I'm not sure how. Start pending. There were a few different commits. All 30 slung cleanly. I would say doing good. And then we have to tell it, no, I don't want you reading my mail. Okay. All right, that's good. We'll notify when it leaves start pending. Sure. Let's if it's I think a if it's working, I don't know. I don't think we need to introspect on that too much. B, yeah, please continue. I'm sure there is more work on the plate that we have unblocked for you, as well as any new mail. Okay. 3. The 3 can't go up, so it's got to go to the right. No choice. Here was the first one where we used that can't be touching 2 of the same type. So this one is touching a 1, 3, and a 4, so it has to be a 2. It has to go right here. We can't draw this 1 here, so this has to be a 1 or joined. And that means that this 3 has to go like this. And now there is no 4 corners down here, so we clearly did something different. And it's probably not much different, but I guess we'll be able to compare it when we're done. Okay. So, interesting thing happened on this square, right? It can't be a 3 or a 2. It has to be a 4 or a 1. The 4 here can't go side to side. There's not enough room. This one's got to go up and down. And we're not sure if it includes this square or not, but we can be sure that it includes at least 3 squares, like this. You can notate that like so. This 3, on the other hand, there's only one way to do that. This square can't be a 2 because it would run into this other 2. It can't be a 3 because next to 3s. It can't be a 4, so it's got to be a 1. And then this one can't be a wall because that would create 4 corners. So that tells us where this 2 is. All right. So that tells us that this is a 4. It's a complete 4. Yeah, I feel we're coming close to the end now. This one could be a 1 or a 4. One interesting thing about making this a 1 is that this next square would have to be, it would be next to a 1 and a 2. There's no room for it to be a 4, it'd have to be a 3. Then it would butt into this 3. So this can't be a 1. It has to be the 4. And let's see if that solved the puzzle. We've got this 2 we made, we've got this 1, we've got this 2, and we're kind of checking the neighbors of that thing. We've got this 4. Maybe at some point we should like write in the numbers that we're inferring. so that we know, hey, this is a 2, this is a 4. That'd be easier to check. But yeah, I think this is the actual solution. So let's look at the differences, shall we? There are more differences than I thought. I gotta tell you. Uh, and I think that's sort of owing to the sort of loosey goosey way we were doing the rules in the past. There might be other errors too. But I think this four corner one is the only one. You can see that it makes a huge difference. Like some of this stuff is all the same. The right side is actually the same. Then the bottom left corner is quite a bit different. This extra one appears in the correct solution, where it's up here. So this is in the correct solution. In the wrong solution, it's up here, and that changes the whole left side pretty much. Yeah, this one definitely grew on me. The rules being a little bit unusual. Mm-hmm. Vocabulary is converging. That's good. There are 253 beats in flight. Interesting. Cool. Yeah, so we have 3 shells running now. Um, this is sort of what I envision this whole thing being like. Oh, whoops. Interesting. All right. We've got a bunch of active sessions. The mayor is reset pending. I didn't know. I guess I don't know how much context we're dealing with right now. We're at like a 44%, which feels like a lot, I suppose. Let's do let's do a GC handoff if all of our design work is captured. Beats. Um, actually, on second thought, I guess there are these shells running. Left is for agents. This is something that I don't know a ton about, which is like, if I have it do a GC handoff, am I killing this in-flight work, or like what are the shells running? What does it have? Ah, no, I don't think we want to abandon our background tasks. Let's just wait. Uh, what's the next step in our rig refactor? Are we waiting on some GC Oracle questions? I totally don't remember. Guess it's a 1 hour hydrate warning. Like, I don't think we're totally blocked on the Oracle. I feel like there's more to do. We haven't done any work trees. Uh, I might have a little inside baseball to do to get a bigger partition on the VM, but I might have to shut down the VM to do that. Yeah, power off the VM. So good. Phase two. Yeah, we want to look at memory and conversation search and potentially some orchestration primitives. I don't know what happened here. Okay. Update the concierge prompt template to use GC agent list. Um, yeah, phase A and B is cool. Yes, let's keep going. Let's start with A, then B's. Good. So the project that it's going to get. We went over this maybe a couple sessions ago, um, but if you recall, like we have different packs that are units of workspace configuration. We went through a number of sessions about packs, the way they're implemented, the way you import them and compose them, version them. Um, we definitely went back and forth about like what's the right unit of composition for all the stuff that we're doing. Because it seems like we have this puzzle pack. It seems like we have these routing and department packs that are sort of different. That kind of thing. Template fragments might be useful to give several agents the same command or the same skill or that kind of thing. And then inside of here are a bunch of packs that people have already created. So uh, these are this is sort of the misnamed uh, research plan implement stuff. Uh, Here we've got CAS is a first order pack. I really hope. Now I don't know where Flywheel went. We were really looking for that one. Um, yeah, see, these are research plan implement. Yeah. Uh, It's not Slack. Is it under Gastown? No, these are this is the actual Gastown pack, like the canonical Gastown in terms of Gas City. There's testing ones. Huh. Where did the Jeffrey Emanuel ones go? Flywheel and all that stuff. Um, I feel like I'm hallucinating. It's really weird. No. See, all this stuff got unpublished. They weren't published in registry.toml, which is where exactly? It says it's opening, but I don't totally believe it yet. Maybe it's just a really large file or something. Maybe we should be checking the Discord to understand what happened here. That may have been the user's earlier mental model. No, it was removed like a few commits ago. It was there at the time. Um, Frustrating, confusing. Where's the actual PAX repository? Okay. When did this happen? Remove unpublished pack folders. Right here. So this was on May 30th. So anything before that in the forum is not doing what we need. Lots of. I'm just reading through the. Sorry, this is like of course dead air. While I read through the Discord for Gas City, and I try to find out what to do about this weird problem that 4 days ago, um, like lots of this happened. Why did this get removed? Let's look at the PR maybe. Why was this good? Okie dokie. Um, let's open an issue. Well, okay, before the issue, let's look at the contributing guidelines and maybe there's something here. Okie dokie. It's they were pretty light, to put it mildly. Hmm. X. SPR number of packs were unpublished because they didn't exist in registry TOML. I understand wanting to keep the keep the deployment consistent, but why weren't those packs added to registry TOML instead of removed from the repo? Mm-hmm. Is there a workflow that needs to happen when contributing a new pack or updating it? So what is that? What is the best? Mm-hmm. I wanted to use some. I am working on some shared and private packs, and I wanted to use some packs that previously existed in this repo, e.g. stuff in Flywheel. Including Flywheel. Mm-hmm. Is this intended to be the canonical repository for versioned packs? If so, it seems like versions that have been published once need to be available forever. How is that supposed to work? How is that supposed to work otherwise? For their dependents. I guess we could also ask, you know, does this repository need a release version? Okay. Uh, hopefully that is respectful while at the same time getting across my feeling that, you know, if we claim to be doing Maven like or, gem file like dependency versioning and solving versioning hell with packs, and that's the unit of composition, then we're not running this repository the way that we expect. All right. So hopefully we can get into that. All right. Number one, verification. Um, Filed an issue about this. Some packs were unpublished out of the Gas City Packs repository. We could go spelunking in the history and see their contents or replicate them. But the larger issue is whether we should be able to count on those packs continuing to exist without owning them ourselves. Without owning them. Okay. hopefully that's positive and helpful. Yeah, I think that adding Gastown as Gastown, it should update the agent list directly, right? We haven't tried out the new that's weird. I didn't expect that to happen. Maybe there's a closed issue. It's weird to me that we're on issue 50. Is it issue 57 and pull requests are? Yeah, okay, so I see. They're trading against each other. They're pulling from the same um, numbering system. So we've only had 5 issues in this repo. But yeah, there is no pull request 57. I reserved that number for my issue. Okay. Yeah. Hmm. What indeed? Number. I hate having to work without this, but number 3, my other concern is drift. We don't want to be in the gas town business if we can avoid it. We just want to use it as in the gas town maintenance business. The gas town pack maintenance. We want to use it as a tool. But yes, I am a little concerned that it could be about dependency stability now. I mean, I don't like the fact that we're not using a sort of proven, particularly workflow and orchestration manager, and that we're kind of slowly rebuilding it from scratch. Hmm. Okay. Okay, hopefully that gets the message across and we can kind of move on. updating the concierge. So this is to use GC agent list. To find agents at runtime. Okay. Cells. 5 cells. Divide the grid along the grid lines in regions of exactly n cells, n is given for each puzzle. So, oh, this is 4 cells. 4 cells. And so, how many of the 4 edges of the cell are used by region borders? Oh, okay. Yeah. Sure. So this is the Slitherlink or Palisades type thing. A region may contain a number of cells, any amount of number of cells, or even one. Oh, sure. Okay, so um, this is Palisades. um, Here we go. This is Palisades with region size 5, and this is Palisades with region size 4. Everything else is the same. Okay, so I think we've done many Palisades even on stream. The outside edge counts as border, so we have to use it. And there are no interior lines, there are only borders basically between regions. So we can be sure that if something doesn't divide 2 regions, then it's not a line. We can't be sure though that this is not a line because it could divide 2 regions from one another. We know that there's going to be 5 regions in this puzzle because region size 5. And we also know that we can't draw a region smaller than 5. We've got to continue this border line and this one. We've got to open this up. I feel like we've done one of these on stream, so we'll just go fast as we can. We're not sure whether this one's gonna include this cell or that cell, but this one we can be sure. This one is now complete, it's size 5. This one we can be sure we have to use. If we don't use this, we won't be able to get 3 edges around this 3. There we go. That made our choice for us, and there we go. 5 cells. And Palisade. All right, let's move to the next one. Galaxies. I think I explained before that galaxies is quite tough. It doesn't look so tough on an easy level, but it can get very complex. I might have talked about this already in the context of one of the World Puzzle Grand Prix puzzles, I think. We did see it in GM Puzzles, had a variant of this one too. We can't have 2 galaxies in the same region, and the galaxies need to be rotation symmetric about their center. Yeah, I feel we've talked about all of this before. I feel super sure of that. Anyway, very cool puzzle, but like very difficult, I think. Place exactly 1 triangle, square, and 1 circle in each region. Same symbols cannot be orthogonally or diagonally adjacent. So we already get the regions. We're given some symbols. And all cells with symbols must be connected. That's really interesting too. I don't know what hakoiri means. Iri means entrance usually, right? I mean, it could be in a lot of things in Japanese. Okay, so all the symbols need to be connected. You can't have same symbols will not be orthogonally or diagonally adjacent. Okay, that's important. And exactly 1 in each region. Okay, so that's all the rules. Okay. Hmm. Got the duplicates. That's good. We've got some designs captured. That's good. Antiquarian is grinding. Sure. The remaining ones. If we are adding enough, if we're adding enough mechanics, mm-hmm. After the bootstrap. But maybe that's because the formalisms are more varied and important to the genre than the mechanics. That. Uh-huh. But I mean, I guess that's why we play the game, right? This is what we wanted to know. I think what that also means is that mhm. That's wrong. Um, you can kind of take this two ways. One of the ways is you need to find some new interesting formalisms to use within this small set of mechanics. And that way your puzzles will feel familiar at first, but then everyone will get that sort of aha moment when they start to make inferences that are unexpected. Uh, that's the sort of way to have fun inside of this genre. But another possibility is, right, like say that this genre only has 13 real mechanics, and we're not going to find many more as we go through here. I mean, we might find things, we might not. But the interesting thing here is that doesn't it seem like if you can come up with a new grid mechanic, that that is a rich place for innovation? That your puzzles will feel really different. We ran the full QC and committed. Yeah, you should absolutely do that. It's interesting how If my job is just to sit in front of the shell and press tab and enter, do what you think you're supposed to be doing, something's wrong, and I should get out of the loop somehow. But it is cool that we have a QC report, and we do want to yeah, we do want to fix that and then rerun it, rerun the vocab checks. It's okay to find problems even in the promoted set in the catalog. Um, all right, so where were we? There can't be any triangles in this area. There can't be any circles in this area. There can't be any squares in this area. Hmm. I guess we would say that they have to be orthogonally linked, but we don't know if they have to be orthogonally linked right here, right? So this could be a square, and if it were a square in one of these two spots to link these two, then it would be right here, so that it's not close to this square. But it's possible that that's not how they're linked at all. Let's look at circle for a second here. Circle can't go here, and it can't go here, but we need one in this region, so it's got to be here or here. Um, maybe we better get out our circle, our green square, and our blue triangle. Okay. Just making sure we got those colors queued up. If the circle's got to be here or here, that means that it can't be in these two squares, right? Because that's a place where there, or these two squares, that's a place where the bounding boxes of both of these circles overlap. So if it can't be in these two squares, then in this region, it's got to be in these two squares. Oops. And also, we can just do our blue triangle right now. It's got to go right here. It's the only place left in this region that isn't adjacent to this triangle. And then we can go over here. Okay, so interesting. We know that the circle in this region can't be here, here. It can't be here. It's got to be here. And if that has to be here, then we definitely can't have a circle in this one. So it's got to be right here. Maybe I can come up with a notation that doesn't leave all these blobs everywhere. We haven't quite figured out how the eraser works. But okay. So this one's actually done, and we could know since there's nothing right here. I don't know how useful that is to know, but I guess we'll see in time. We've got to get a triangle in here somewhere. We got to get a square up here, and the only place to put this square is right here. Good. The triangle is going to be here or here. We're not sure yet. Let's look at this one. We've got to get a square and a triangle in here. The square is going to go here or here. There's no square here, and there's no square here. We already knew. Just, the triangle is not here, So there's a triangle here and a triangle here. There's no square and no triangle right here. So there's actually nothing there. And similarly on this side, there's nothing here. And that's useful because they block. We need to orthogonally connect all of these symbols, right? There's nothing here. There might be a triangle here. Ah, this is an interesting one down here. There's got to be, one of the two here and one of the two here. Actually, we can tell that the square and the triangle are both here. So the square and the triangle can't be here. So they both have to be here. And we've got the circle, can't be here. So that leaves only one spot for the circle, which is right here. In this one just above it, this triangle takes out these two, and it's got to be right here. Since we know we've got to get both into this area, we've got to put our triangle right here. And we've got to put the square right here. It's good that it's keeping track of those four colors for me. There can't be anything right here. There can't be a triangle in these three, so it's got to be down here in the corner. So far, I don't think I've had to do anything super complicated in this puzzle. No super complicated inferences or anything like that. We're going to have a circle here or here, which means not here or here, which means there has to be a circle here or here. Oops. Interesting. All right, let's see how our puzzle company's doing. Okay. Why don't you go ahead and fix and take that bead. Okay. I mean, I assume that it would perhaps it's true that the antiquarian should be fixing its own stuff, but um we're not at that level of maturity yet where, you know, it seems like the antiquarian wanted to just use this as a tool again, right? And we're sort of vending that tool for them. Okay, cool. Hmm. Oh, this is interesting. If there's a circle here and here, then there can't be one here and here. So there has to be one right here. Sneaky, sneaky. It's interesting how that sort of bounced back in between these two regions. All right. So there isn't one right here. Who's here? We need to fit a square in here somehow, but it could be in any of these three places. One funny thing that's happening now is that we can't have a triangle here, so we've got nothing right here. See how these are sort of cut off in a sort of is that do they all flow and match one another? If we put a shape here, we definitely have to have something right here so that this could escape. Because if there is nothing here, and there has to be a shape here, um, the square would go here, but it couldn't meet all of the other ones. So it kind of implies that there has to be something here. We don't have any way to denote that. There's no notation for that yet. Okay, so we've got both shapes right here, so this can't have anything. The square can't go here or here, so it's got to go right here. Like I said, hasn't been a very, I wouldn't call it a difficult puzzle. I would say tense is a little bit harder. Maybe we'll have to make some inferences about where the how to keep this all connected. Oh, okay. If the square is here, then this square has to be right here. And there, that means this square is here. There's a triangle above it. Nothing right here. There's nothing right here. It's in the neighborhood of a circle, triangle, and a square. Hmm. We're just trying to find the place where we could find the most interesting next inference to work on. Okay, here's an interesting one. We've got a square and a triangle left to go. They both overlap onto this square, so there's no square or triangle in there, but this region only has 3. There's got to be a circle here. And that means the only place in this region that can take a circle is right here. We know that we need to fill it's a nothing square. We know that we need to fill these two, and we know that we need to fill these two. So they're definitely going to be opposite shapes. There's going to be square, triangle, or triangle, square. And then this is also an opposite shape. So it's going to look something like triangle, square, or square, triangle. In either case, nothing is going to be here. We're going to have a triangle in one of these two. Okay, how are we doing here? Okay, I see. A stray control byte? I don't know how that happened, but whatever. Um, Maybe it was like a quotation of something that it got from one of its sources. I don't know. Okay, cool. Um, so I'm glad it did all that. It can push the changes, and then What's this cold start thing? Execution cutover? Oh, we need to cold start the city, I guess. A cutover is something like restarting the city. Is that it or something else? All right. I mean, I do enjoy the shapes. I enjoy the colors. Didn't quite finish over here. Let's consider the case where this is nothing. Then these we'd try to get this. This would be in a corner kind of, and we'd do shape, shape, and then we'd be out of room. So this can't be nothing. The only thing that it's left to be is a triangle. Okay. That was kind of interesting. And then since this is a triangle, we need to get a triangle into this region. There it is. Now we're not sure where the circle has to go, but we might suspect that since it's unconstrained by any other properties, it's got to help us out with keeping everything connected, which kind of suggests that it's going to go here. But uh, we don't we haven't like proven that yet or anything. But that's something that we can wait to emerge from the rest of the puzzle. Ah, there's no square here. I guess that was visible from the beginning. So it's got to be right here. And now we can go through and do the rest of these. It's gonna be a triangle here. I should be filling them in, right? That was the fun. I'm robbing myself of the fun. It's not that fun, but it's fun. All right. Is this stuff cut off from everything? Not quite, but it's getting there, getting pretty close. We know that we need finish off this region. This right here. We know this one. We can finish off this region. There's a square here, which is going to help us look at the region right below it. Now there's got to be a square here or here. Right? And that means there can't be a square here. There's got to be a square here or here. If the square is here, then the circle certainly has to be here. But then this, it's not quite cut off. Gotta put this square at this border here. So there are a couple of cut points here that would keep the, if both of these were not filled in, here and here. Oh, and actually we would know if our circle has to go here, which it does, and we've got our square and our triangle here, this cut point has happened. So there's only one cut point left. If this were empty, then all of this would be cut off from the rest of the puzzle. So, just as we surmised, it's got to be right there. Okay. It's a little hard to see cut points, of course. That's why the brown dots are sort of helping. All right. So the circle's here, here, and the square is here or here. So probably the last inference we're going to have to make is something around cut points again. Okay, here's one. If this is empty, then we've got this cut line right here that cuts off this part of the puzzle from the rest of the puzzle. So it can't be empty, gotta be green. All right, let's look at our next one. If this is here, if this is empty, then it's a cut point again. Like you can draw a line of brown points that connect from one edge to another edge. That's sort of what a cut point means, I suppose. Or even to the same edge, you know. There we go. So that forces this circle to be here. And that forces this square to be here. And that's it for shapes. We can double check our solution by putting in the dots and seeing that there are no cut points anywhere. Or seeing that everything is connected as it should be. Yeah. Yep, we can get to everything without running over a cut point. And touch every shape without leaving the connected shape graph. Yeah. All right. That was more fun than I thought it would be. Okay. The supervisor is the long-running process. Yeah, it kills all the running sessions. Yeah, we don't want to lose what we've got. Finish the mechanic suite first. Type something. Wait for sweep to finish. Then you can run a GC handoff. I think this will allow you to mail the next mayor session. I don't know if it will restart this city. That might be a future mayor's job. All right. 2-hour hydration notice. Okay, cool. We could do that. Check the new tags going so far. Hako is box, right? I'm just looking up what Hako Iri means. I got interested. Hmm. For some reason, I have huge problems writing B. I mean, I know what it's supposed to look like. Boxed. Hako Iri. Like, closed up in a box, I guess. Haku. Seismic. Ripple effect. Enter a number in each cell of the grid so that every region of size n contains all the numbers. If there are two cells with the same number in a row or column, there must be at least z other cells. I think we did this one, didn't we? I'm pretty sure we did. I'm not positive. Let's try it. It feels familiar. Maybe because we had a different puzzle of separating by at least that number. Okay. So we would know that we've got to have ones in all of the ones. And we've got to have 1, 2. If it's at least one cell away, is it orthogonally away? In the same row or column, there must be at least that number between those. So we can't have any ones next to any ones orthogonally. So like this can't be a 1, but maybe these could be 1s. Ah, we can't put the 1 here, 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 but or here. Ah, so I think that means that we're forced to put our 1 right here, right? Can't go here, 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 or here. Yep. 1. We have 1, 2 here too. We can't put our 1 next to this one. That's kind of forced too. 1, 2. In this 5 spot, there's going to be a 1 here and a 1 here. Or one of the two. Can't put the 1 next to 1. I feel like we're going to get past the easy stuff eventually and into the harder stuff. The 1's going to be here or here. The 1's going to be here or here. The 1's going to be here or here. Ah, we can't have a 1 here or 1 here, so it's got to be it right here. We can't have a 2 right here because it would be only have 1 cell in between it and the next 2. We can't locate a 3 anywhere along here. It's going to be here or here. Okay, hopefully it will notify while it's running after it's running in the background. We can check again in a few minutes. We're just on the prowl. We haven't found quite all of the ones, maybe, but so there can't be a one here, here, or here. So it's got to be right here. Can't be one here, or here, or here. Got to be right here. Can't have a two here because of this two, or here because of this two. Got to be right here. We can't have the two here or here. Got to be over here. If we have the three here or here, then there can't be a three here. It'd be too close. That'd be like this. We definitely can't put the six here. It's got to be in these one of these two. And if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, well, it doesn't really matter. Okay. We can't put a 4 here or here. So it's got to go here. I find this puzzle kind of pleasing. 1, 2, 3, 4. So none of these are a 5. This was not a 5. Got to be here. I definitely think that you sort of you're trying to solve maybe the easy ones first, and the ones are the easiest. But after that, it gets a little more complicated. We can't have a 6 in here. Gotta be right here. We definitely couldn't have a 6 in this row. There's a 7 in this one. The 7's or the 6 is going to be here or here. This can't be the 5. We can't put the 3 in here either. Okay, maybe that's the way to think about it. So we can't get a 6 or a 3 into any of these three, but we need both of them in this region, so it's got to be 6 and 3 in these two squares. So we're left with 5 and 7 and 2 in this area. Gotta get the 5 here or here because it's too close to this other one over there. Oh, well, if the 5 is too close here and the 2 is too close here, then this has got to be the 7. And we've got our 5 and 2 here, and our 6 and 3 here. That's a pretty fun inference to make, I would say. Here, we can't put the 2 or the 3 or the 4. They're too close, or the 5. By elimination, it's the 1. Can't put a 3 here because of this one, or here because of this one, or here because of this one. So it's got to go here. But since that's true, that affects our 3, 6 thing right here. We're still dealing with 2. We can't put a 2 here or here. Gotta be here. And we can't put a 4 here. That means we can't put okay, there's no 5 in this one. That's good. 3 and 1, are right here and here. That's still a thing. Can't put our 4s here or here. got to go right here. We can't put our 1 here or here, so this is the only place left. We can't put our 2 here. All right. One thing that's not clear to me is if the shells are still going on background. I've seen it happen where it will sort of interrupt itself or interrupt me while I'm typing and come back in with a new message, but it's not totally clear to me what it's doing in between when it's my turn. Okay, so we had 10, we thought we had 3. We've got maybe 24 more. All right, that's good info. If it's fixing itself, I'm happy with that. Ah, and right here, this would be too close to this too. 5. The 5 can't go here, it's got to go here or here. The 1 can't go here, it's got to go here or here. And the 2, it seems, can go in either place. So it's not obvious to me right now what's going to break the deadlock here. Oh, okay, wait, you know what? We can't put the 5 here either because it's too close to this one. There'd only be 4 in between these 5s. So it has to go here. There we go. I think that, yeah, like assuming that the puzzle is correct, is well formed, it's a good heuristic most of the time. So in this region, we just got 1, 2, 3, and 4 to deal with. These ones are 1 and 3. So probably we'll figure it out from this. The 1 has to go here or here. The 2 can't go here or here. It has to go here, here. The 3 can't go here or here. It's actually with the 1. So we've got 1 and 3 like this. We've got 2 and 4 like this. This 4 is too close for this to be 4. This has to be 2. This has to be 4. Now we're dealing with 1 and 3 here. So 1 and 3 here. The 1s aren't close enough to make the difference, but this is actually, here we found the 3 that we're cared about. This 3 is too close for this to be 3. And there we go. Pretty sure no mistakes there. It was pleasant, kind of relaxing. I don't think it was too special. I don't think we had to go out of our way to make any really interesting inferences, but maybe there's a version of that that's a lot harder. I mean, certainly like when we were doing the World Puzzle Grand Prix competition, those ones were very hard versions of, fairly simple-ish puzzles. Hanare. Huh, that's interesting. If you look at this, this part spells Hanare, but what's this extra character doing here? Let's find out. Oh, actually, we gotta cut it here. So we'll pause our mayor. Oh, it's learning about GC handoff right now, so the sweep is complete. And hopefully, when we wake up, we'll be ready to continue our refactor of our city. So cool. Hopefully, I'll get back to this tonight, but if I don't, hope you have a good one. I hope this has been interesting and educational stream as always. Have a little fun with puzzles, and I'll see you again soon.